This episode is brought to you by Anivia Pickleball, your premier destination for high-quality pickleball paddles designed to elevate your game. At Anivia, they are committed to providing players across Canada with innovative, performance-driven pickleball paddles crafted for durability, precision, and ease of play. Irene and myself are currently using their Gen 3 Pro paddle, and if you head over to anivia.com and enter the code AGorman15, you get 15% off your order. That's AGorman15 at anivia.com. All right, on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pickleball Diaries podcast. I'm, of course, Andrew Gorman, joined, as always, by certified referee Victor Chan. Vic, how's it going?
Good, not too bad. Came back from refereeing this weekend, so that has been fun.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is kind of a recap episode where we're going to go over some events that happened a couple weeks ago and recently. As a lead up to a few other things, we got some AI line calling to talk about. But first, we'll start off with the Summer Smash recap, where Vic, you and Irene got to play together. Irene played with Jill. You played with Lester. Mm-hmm. I know you guys weren't super happy with some of the outcomes there, but how did the overall tournament go?
So let's start with me and Irene. So me and Irene played on Saturday on that one at the 4.5 mix. Unfortunately, we went 1-2. We actually lost both a very close game, and I will say basically there's two things. Either I over practice because the day before was Friday, which is my men's double play, and then right after I went with Erin to practice at EPC, and then I was like, maybe I play too much, and that could be one of the things. I should have just say I'm toast. I should just go back and rest. The other thing also was in play is our first partnership. So there is a couple of clash of paddle in their center, not knowing which ball Erin should take or which one I should be taking. Which one of them cost one of our match, our first match, which we lost, I think 17-15 because of that clash into the smash. And then a couple other things too is because as I was a little tired, I felt when I was watching the match, I wasn't aggressive enough. I wasn't showing my presence into the court, because usually when I play mix, I should be taking like a good amount of court, like at least a good 70%, and kind of dominating the play. In the couple of matches I was seeing, I was not. I was very passive on my side of the things, and not poaching the ball that should be poaching. Yeah, kind of things. So that was definitely my fault. Obviously, one of our last match, unfortunately, there's some call that was against us that shouldn't be against us, but is what it is. I still should have played better, and we didn't. And one last thing I noticed is me and Erin hasn't been playing a lot of stacking, especially. And Erin actually told me afterwards, like, she was not used to really play the game as a full stack. Like on serve, she's used to it, but on the return, she's not really used to having to stack. She usually plays straight up, and that could be a factor which kind of hinder her a little bit. Oh, should I take that ball, or am I running to it or not, kind of thing.
And that's partially my fault, Vic, because me and Irene don't really stack unless it's more of like an on the fly thing when she plays with me because we play both because I play both sides. So, but yes, so but I kind of expected that, and both of you are also more of the aggressor type player,
Yes.
whereas like when you play with me, I'm clearly the counter puncher, defensive reset guy, setting you up type of shots. And then it's very similar with Irene. Like, yes, I take a little bit more of the court because I'm trying to be like the more dominant, like male player, but I'm still very more of a counter puncher
Yeah.
and setting her shots up. So with both of you used to being the person who gets set up, that's where you see those paddle clashes sometimes come in. And like that, and like we said, first time playing together, like I guarantee, like if you guys played like one or two more tournaments together, then this wouldn't like it wouldn't even be an issue anymore because you guys are both so good with communication on the court that it would work itself out pretty quickly. But yeah, Irene was saying the same thing. Like she didn't like how she played certain shots and certain angles and stuff like that. So like it was funny. So like our first like day drilling back, she's like, "Hey, you're dinking to me on the right side. I'm working on this shot. I'm working on this shot. I'm working on this shot." So it's just she just went hyper focused on, "Okay, I need to get used to fielding more shots from this particular area and stuff like that." So both of you came back with like, "Hey, this is what I need to work on," type of thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly. We kind of felt like we let down each other a little bit. We should have been much better, but at the same time, I think it's just lack of play experience with each other and kind of sometimes gets into your head. I was like, oh, now should I take it or should I not take it? And then that
yeah,
second of hesitation is like that cost you the match, unfortunately.
yeah.
And then
And then
well,
actually, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
you do you in Leicester first because you were there.
Yeah, and then the day before it was Friday between me and Lester, and that could be also a factor because we play way too much that was supposed to be basically because we're at first on bye, and then we got knocked off to the B side because for some reason me and Lester was not playing what we should, and I wasn't playing the ball that I was playing. I was letting Leicester taking too much of the shots, basically, and the opponent was very good at targeting Leicester, and I was not there to relieve the pressure and to kind of make my same thing kind of make my presence felt on the court. So we lost that first match to best 2 of 3, and then the second match it was very close. We are almost getting knocked out. So basically, going 0-2 by 2 points. So we're down 8-13 on that match against I guess Noah and Carson. So Noah which is the Lester's youngest son, and then Carson, which is also one of the juniors that I teach at race on Friday. So we're almost done. And then in my mind, I was like, "There's no way I gotta lose to these kids." Not saying they didn't play well. They played actually very well. But I was like, in my mind, I was like, I cannot lose to these kids. And then I just went out swinging basically, and then we won. We I think we won 15-13 because they didn't make another point afterwards.
Nice.
So that was a scare. Then now we went to the bronze. I think we went to the bronze medal match after that, or no, we played one more, which we won pretty convincingly. And then the next match was the bronze medal match, which we play against the same team that we lost in our first match, which on the A side. And this time we beat them 15-8. Not convincingly, but pretty comfortably. We're we're having a big lead all the time. I think 15-11 actually, not 15-8. Oh, I might be mistaken. But we're having a huge lead regardless on that one, because this time I knew they will be targeting Leicester. Okay, you know what? You're not gonna get it. Every ball that's going to Leicester is gonna be me. You're gonna have me in front of them, basically. So that plays a role. And then unfortunately in the gold medal match we kind of run out of gas a little a little bit. We still make it a little bit more reasonable. I think we lost 11-6, 11-9, and second game was bad. We were down 0-8.
Oof,
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna get pickle. Sorry, I'm not gonna get pickle. So I just went out swinging again. And then unfortunately I probably went off gas on that, and then that was the match. And the other thing is also was not very easy condition. It was very windy on Friday, so that was the difference. In mix we play indoors, and then on Friday in men's we are playing outdoors, because and on Saturday it was raining pretty heavily in Edmonton. So therefore it was like two different condition. I didn't adjust quick enough, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I haven't been playing enough also outdoors, so it took me some time to get used to it, and that's probably why we lost the first match, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for Irene and Jill playing in the women's 4-5, they ended up in fourth place. Once again, Irene wasn't super happy with how she played. She thought she was trying to do a little bit too much. Same thing, first time playing with Jill, and Jill is also a very aggressive player in comparison to Irene's usual partners. So it was just like, some miscommunications first time playing together. And then if they started to pick on Jill in certain spots, Irene would then try to do too much. A bunch of them were close matches. There was one really bad match that they had. I can't remember what the score was, but I know it was like a 15 to like 3 or 4 or something like that. And Irene was like, what the hell is going on in this one? But sometimes you have some of those matches where just nothing falls for you and you just can't get out of the rut. But no, like Irene, by the end of it, like I said, she came home and we're like, okay, we're drilling, we're focused, we're working on this. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. So she'll be raring to go for the next tournament for sure. Because I think this is that's probably one of the
her
first
second.
I think only only her second tournament ever where she hasn't medaled at all. Like in both mix and in women's. Like usually she's at bare minimum podium in one
of them. That's easy.
Right. So it's every now and then it helps to get that little kick in the butt to like refocus. Right. So and that's basically what she said. She was like obviously not happy with her result, but she's like, no, it's just gonna make me better later. Right. So
yeah, I should mention on the pod I was sandbagging in men's double 4.0 too.
So yeah, I did give you a little bit of crap for that, but
sorry about that. Yes, yeah, due to my CTPR, I entered that.
Hey, the algorithm is still working its way, right? So it'll balance itself out, like I said, in a year and a half, 2 years, and we'll figure out where we really are, right?
Yeah, exactly. I shouldn't be playing more 4.0 because the CTPR now have adjusted. At that time when I registered, it wasn't being adjusted yet. So.
Oh yeah. That's like me now. Like I have to, like my CPR is adjusted to 4.5 now, so I can't play in 4.0 unless it's like a 4.0 up type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore now I should be playing also always at 4.5.
Yeah. So that just means Lester's got to come up if you're not playing. If you're playing with Lester, he's got to come up one, or you got to play with him.
He's trying to have a sales pitch, so I'm playing with him, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Watch out, Lester.
So we love you, Lester. So moving on. So we did have the Alberta Provincials a couple weeks ago. Neither of us were able to go. I had some family stuff going on. Vic, you were in Montreal, right?
Yeah, I was in Montreal. Unfortunately, I have a dental conference to attend to because I was the course director for the fellowship review course for the Academy of General Dentistry. Because myself, I'm a fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry. So this is my second job. You see that? I'm dentist. I have to do other job than being playing pickleball. Right? See that?
So yeah, so neither of us got to go there. It was in Medicine Hat this year, which is a long ass drive for me. I did do my very first provincials in Medicine Hat. It is a very nice.
Yeah, that was the first provincial, which I still have that picture. Andrew won gold, and Erin won gold, and me and May we won bronze.
Yeah, and we actually never met each other in the bracket.
No, we never met. We just never,
because
crossed over.
because you were on the opposite side of the bracket of us. So the
Yep.
team you lost to, we beat in the semis, and then they beat you guys again in the bronze to come back up and play us. So yeah, it was funny. We were on the podium, and we actually never played each other, and we never met each other too. It was funny when we looked back at that picture. It's like, oh, we were in this photo together because that was before me and Vic ever knew each other too.
Exactly.
But yeah, so like Medicine Hat is a very I love the setup there. Like the championship court section is awesome.
Nice
the way
and
the court,
wide.
it's nice and wide. The court setup itself is good. Like I find the wind is not as big of a factor there because it's more narrow. Like setup because it's only 2 courts wide instead of like the 3 courts wide that's in like Red Deer. And Medicine Hat has been getting better hosting tournaments. Like I know the last couple of times they hosted, people were complaining about long wait times and stuff. Now some of that was due to like internet glitches. Other things were due to just time management and stuff like that. But I was talking to a couple of our club members who went down and played pretty well. That there was a good flow. Over the weekend, there wasn't a lot of heavy wait times. There was only one little weather issue, which I think only delayed maybe like by 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's just like it happens. There's some
like a spurt rain shower really quick, and so you bring the squeegees out and you squeegee the floors, and then you're good to go, right? The biggest thing that we have to look at for this was there was no pro players at this event this year. There was no open category. It was just 4.5 and over.
Yeah.
And there was 100 less players at these provincials than what there has been for the last couple years in Alberta. There was only 428, where normally the Alberta Provincials have been up in like the 530s.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna partially account that to the Nationals being, even though Manitoba's more central, it's technically in the West. And like for someone like me who has to book time off to go to these events because of how far away they are, I've said earlier on earlier podcasts, like, well, if I'm going to book a week off to travel to go to an event, I'm going to go and get 5 days worth of games instead of just 3 days worth of games. Right. So like there's players like me who are like, okay, well, I can only pick one. I'm going to pick Nationals because I get more bang for my buck.
Yeah.
Right. So that's an issue. And being in my last term on the Pickleball Alberta board, I know for some of the pro players, they were talking about, well, there's not enough of us that come out. And basically because realistically, if we look in Alberta, we have like what, 4, 5, 6, maybe tops, like what we would consider pro level players.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I got to drive out, get a hotel, I got to pay the registration, and then it's basically going to be I beat a bunch of I don't want to call everyone they beat like scrubs, but I'm beating a bunch of people. I'm going to blow out like 11-2 until I get to like either the semis or the finals where I'm playing a guy that I normally practice with.
Yeah,
and there's no cash prize.
Yeah,
right?
it sucks, right? Because now you have CNPL, you have other tournaments that's running with cash prize or money ball, something like that. Like, there's no incentive. Like, there's like as a pro player, if I was a pro player, I was like, well, if I have already, like, take this example like Brad Chapman or Kim Layton, they have multiple provincial medal and tournament in open already. Like, I have nothing, like for them, I have nothing to prove to go to another national provincial event, right? To say I win another provincial. I need to pay for my hotel. I need to pay for all this, and what I'm gonna get, a medal, while I can go to CNPL and play with. I don't know about their incentive, but at least probably they could cover their travel. Or I can go play whatever tournament they organize in the West or organize in the East with cash prize, right? Playing against like the pros, usually on the cash prize, the pro will show up. So
yeah, and like we say pros because these people are trying to make this their actual form of living. Like they're playing pickleball as a profession. Like they're usually coaching or running clinics to pay for everything. Like some of them still have like a side hustle that they can do on the side from home, like say in accounting or something like that. But they're trying to make pickleball their main source of income. So when it's a tournament that's not offering you anything, whether it's like, okay, we want you guys to come because one, you're a draw, so people will come watch and stuff like that. Maybe, even if you cover, say, like their hotel, or if you give them the opportunity to run a clinic and make some money off of it, right? Like that's what provincial, and this is provincials everywhere, not just Alberta, but provincials are going to have to start doing this a little bit more, because you're going to get to the point where these high level pro players are going to be like, well, it's unless I live right there, like unless it's in, say for example, it's in Calgary next year. Well, I live here, so I can just drive to my house and go to it. Like then it's more realistic for me to go. But say if it's in Spruce Grove next year, well, for Brad Chapman, Kim Layton, who live in Calgary, to drive up there, have to get a hotel and stuff like that, it's not, unless there's something extra there, it's not really worth their while, especially when they're trying to make a living out of this. Right. So that's kind of where we are right now, though, with that level. It's like if you want the pro players to show up at these big provincial level events, especially provincials, like nationals still has enough of an allure to it because it's the best in the country that you're still getting pro players going to it.
Yeah.
Right. But provincials now are at that point where, okay, you have to make this a little bit more worthwhile to make it worth the cost. Right. And like I said, this isn't just Alberta. This is BC as well. BC, luckily, because it's very centralized where all the tournaments are taking place, like Kamloops, Kelowna, Surrey, like all those areas are all within a really decent driving distance of each other, and all the players like located right in that one central area. It's a little bit easier for them to go to like provincials, because like the BC just had their provincials this weekend, and a lot of the pro players were playing in the open category. But it's like, yeah, because they live like 20 minutes from the facility that's hosting it, right? So it's like, and that's why we said, like, yeah, if there was a spot in Calgary to host it, you would probably get Brad Chapman and Kim Layton and Chris Allain and all them coming out to, because it's like, well, it's just, I just have to, drive 20 minutes to get there. No biggie. Right. But with Alberta, because we're a little bit more spread out with Red Deer, Medicine Hat, Calgary, and Edmonton area, having good groups of players in each, like same thing, there wasn't a lot of people, like really good players from Edmonton down at the Medicine Hat. It was mostly Red Deer, kind of Calgary area people.
Well, because too far. A lot of Edmonton players like, wow, it's way too far. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like for me, it's almost a 12-hour drive, and because I'm 5 hours north of Edmonton, right? So it's like, so it's just one of those things that's going to have to be looked at, like, and like honestly, for Alberta Provincials now, especially with the Spruce Grove complex, hopefully being opened in time for Provincials next year, because I would love for them to host. You can at least rotate spots, right?
Yeah, there would be a better rotation, at least.
Because for the longest time, it was either Red Deer or Medicine Hat, because they were the only two facilities big enough to host, right? So now you could do, a north 1 year, middle with Red Deer, south Medicine Hat, or I think, because isn't Cochrane also opening up like a massive complex one as well?
Or something like that. Something west of Calgary. That'll be like
so something, something a little bit more. A little bit more central than, like, because Medicine Hat's almost like right on the border of Saskatchewan, right? Like it's very, 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 very far south, like almost on the U.S. border as well, right? So it might be a little bit too far south for some people, but if you can get Calgary, Red Deer, and like Spruce Grove, Edmonton area to rotate hosting, you'll get good turnouts consistently, right? So, but yeah, so and we were looking at the player, like, and even like the 4.5 category, when we looked at the teams that were in there, it was very, very, and this isn't, and sorry, people who are in this category, this isn't a shot at you, but it was a very watered down category. Like when I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is who's winning before the bracket even started. Like, unless an injury or someone literally does not play like to 20% of their potential, this is who's winning. Like, I didn't even have to watch. Right. So, so that was the big thing. Like, a lot of the good players didn't come down and play in it. So, and this is not a shot at Medicine Hat. Like I said, it's an amazing facility down here. They have an insanely great group of pickleball community down there. So it's just, I think it's just, it's getting more pricey to play. And like I said, with nationals being on more of the west side of Canada this year, people just picked one over the other. Right. So
I agree. It's too bad. Hopefully Spruce Grove can take on the next one.
Like I said, yeah, it's still a 5-hour drive for me, but at least it's easier.
It's makeable distance.
Yeah, it's makeable distance, right? Yeah, and so, and well, that's why I said when they posted their thing, I put in the comments, I was like, 2026 provincials, 2027 nationals, fingers crossed. Like, because
Exactly.
by 2027 nationals are coming back to the
Yeah,
West,
they should
right?
come
So,
back to West, right? Yeah.
right, because it rotates each year. So, but okay, so
Definitely.
moving on to the other tournament that happened this past weekend, the Sherwood Park one. This was their first sanctioned tournament, right?
Yeah, just the first sanctioned tournament. Because they're actually fundraising to in order to open a 20 court complex somewhere in Sherwood Park because they're getting very close to capacity with that 8 court, and I actually agree with it because that with the growth of the sport, 8 courts is gonna be full very quickly,
Yeah, exactly.
unfortunately. So especially you're around that surrounding Edmonton area, so people like go around to play in those courts, right? So therefore, and right now, unfortunately, in Edmonton, and that's the problem with this big city. They have enough indoor courts, but they don't have enough outdoor courts, right? So therefore, that's a vicious cycle in right now. So basically, Sherwood Park is at this time hosting their first sanctioned tournament with 8 courts. So they have to kind of cap their number. So they have, I think, not more than 137, something like that. Players. It's
Yeah,
definitely not
I
150.
think when I looked on pickleball.com, yeah, it was hovering around that.
Yeah, it's
Is what they
definitely
kept
not
it
more
at.
than 150 because they can basically go beyond that beyond that number. Otherwise, is going forever. And obviously, that facility do not have light, so you cannot run past 9 o'clock neither, right? So that's the other problem with this tournament. I did not play this time. I ref because I take a rotation of playing and refing. So uh, that's what it is. I rep on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was fine. The weather was actually pretty good. Sunday gets too dicey. There is a lot of rain delay, and the tournament director actually called it after the rain delay. The tournament director say, "That's it. There's no way we're gonna be able to finish our games. Let's just call it and stop it." Unfortunately, and it is what it is, and especially with a small facility like that. There's not much you can do. Now, I'm gonna go through my referee's corner because there's a couple of things some players should have known. I will say, or should know. First of all, there's way too many illegal paddles. What do I mean by illegal paddles? Basically, people are using Timu paddle or the Alibaba paddles. So for us as a referee, it's actually a very difficult job already. And now we have to know how to distinguish those paddles, make it even worse. So players, you should know that you're using those illegal paddle. And in sanctioned tournament, you are not allowed to. You have to use the USAP approved paddle, right? You can check it on the list. Some people say, "Oh, my son gave it to me." Well, it's still your responsibility to check if it's approved paddle or not. Why you need to know that is because there's sanction. There's consequences of you using a illegal paddle. So obviously, if the referee catches before it start the match, you're in luck because we can tell you no, you cannot use this paddle. Go get another paddle. But if we find out during a match that your paddle is illegal, you just forfeited that match. Yes, it is in the rule. I see that. I have the rule book right here in front of me. I gonna read it. So if you go to the paddles section, okay, let me read it out loud to you. So you're not saying, oh, you're bluffing. Okay, so I'm gonna see.
For those of our people who are just listening and not watching visual, Vic literally has the rule book in his hands and it's flipping through the pages right now.
Exactly. So you see that I'm ready. Okay. So see that violation. If at any point during the tournament, if it is determined that a player is using a paddle that violates any of the paddle specification or is not listed on the USAP pickleball USA pickleball approved paddle list as passed, the following penalty applies: 2F1A1. If the violation is identified prior to match starting, the player shall switch to a paddle listed as pass on the USA Pickleball approved paddle list. There's no penalty to switch paddle. That's what I said. You're in luck because we're gonna tell you not use that paddle. But if the violation is identified after the match has started, the player or team forfeit only the match being played. So the match that you just play, you just forfeited. Okay, you just lost 11-0, basically, right? There's one more. If the violation is discovered after the score sheet is returned to the tournament operation desk, the match results stand. So basically, you want the ref after the match is done to walk to the tournament desk as soon as possible. If not,
if the ref is walking to the desk, chuck that paddle in the garbage can really quick so you don't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, you get cooked, unfortunately. Right? Right away. Even you won that match, sorry, 11-0. You lost.
Yeah.
It's a match purpose. So don't try. Don't try that. We're watching. Like me and a level 2 Jesse Parks, we're paddle nerds. We're watching. We got you.
Yeah.
All right. So be careful. Another uncommon fault that actually player does not know. Unfortunately, I have to call two fault on the same team. Unfortunately, is we call it distraction. A lot of people didn't really know the rule properly. So be careful. It's a little different. It's not because tennis we call that a hindrance, but in pickleball we actually call that a distraction, because in pickleball a hindrance is different. A hindrance will result as a replay rather than a fault. Okay, a hindrance, what it is. Example: there's a big wind is blowing over, and then let's say me and Andrew is thinking on the in front of in front of the non-volley zone, and then there's a big wind just blew over, and then the ball and the net got hit together because of the wind, right? That's technically a hindrance because not something we can control, right? Another option, not like it's gonna happen, but might happen. I serve, and I hit a bird that just passed by, or an insect, whatever. That's technically a hindrance, right? It's not something something I can control. A more common one, a ball on court, like you're playing and then there's a ball just flew by on court. That's not something you can control. It's a hindrance, right? So therefore, that's a replay, right? We see that all the time, right? What is a distraction? Okay, now let me get that definition. That's coming directly from the the rule book. Okay, definition: physical action by a player that are not common to the game that, in the judgment of the referee, interfere with the opponent's ability or concentration to hit the ball. Example includes, but are not limited to, making loud noise, stomping feet, and waving the paddle in a distraction manner. Okay, and let's look at the rule that it actually said directly in that. And if you want to look at that rule directly, it's the rule 11J. Okay, let's look at it properly. Distraction: players shall not distract an opponent while the opponent is about to play the ball. If in the judgment of the referee, a player has distracted their opponent, the referee shall immediately call a fault on the offending team. Okay, so what happened in this tournament is that one of the players actually hit a very good shot to the opponent, but before actually the ball had bounced once, the player partner that hits that very good shot yell, like celebrated, before the opponent even has attempted to touch the ball, and the opponent is all on the attempt to try to get to the ball. So therefore, This is a distraction because you should not be yelling or doing anything before the opponent hit the ball. You can celebrate whatever you want after the point is over, but you cannot do that before your opponent actually hits the ball. Okay, that's becomes a distraction. Even though it seems to you that's a winning shot, you cannot do that because this is it is a distraction because you are affecting the ability of your opponent to hit the ball. So yeah, be careful of that. If you want to celebrate, we are not saying you should not be celebrating, but celebrate after the point is over, after the referee has called point, second serve or side out. Do whatever you want when after when the referee have called that. If like before that, if it's the ball is live, you shouldn't be yelling. But please do not be confused between grunting. Grunting is a different story. Like let's say I do sometimes grunting because when I hit the ball I use a little bit too much power, and I like right. But that I yell when I was hitting the ball, right? I did not affect the ability of my opponent to hit the ball because I yell when I hit the ball. But if I yell before, let's say Andrew hit the ball to me, that would be a distraction because I shouldn't be yelling because Andrew will be, what the hell you're yelling before I hit the ball, right?
Yeah, well, because it can confuse the opponent thinking that, oh, maybe they're yelling that there's a ball on the court and like if they stop play and stuff like that, right? And it's funny to me because like as someone who every now and then, especially when it's a really good rally, I get amped up and I like yell pretty loud after a point is scored. Like I was always taught, and this might be because I played a bunch of different sports growing up, was like you do not stop playing until the play is dead. So until that ball either bounces twice or your opponent hits it out or someone calls the ball out, like that play is considered live. And as soon as the play is dead, that's when you celebrate or whatever. So it's funny to me, like I can understand messing it up once, but messing it up twice, like it's almost like you're getting ahead of yourself type of thing, right? So
yeah, but it's very unusual fault, but unfortunately, as you see, it's on the rule book. It's written black and white. I get it. It's a referee judgment call, but at the same time, right? And that's what we're looking. We're actually looking. When did you yell? If you yell when you are hitting the ball, no problem. Do whatever you want. You're not affecting your opponent, but you're not supposed to yell when your opponent is about to hit that ball, right?
well, yeah, and I know if it was me on the other team, like the way you're describing, because obviously I haven't seen any footage of it, but like I'd actually be looking, especially if it messed me up enough that I missed the ball, I'd be looking at the ref saying, "Isn't that not distraction?"
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's the thing. So if you want to celebrate, no problem. Wait till the ref call like the end of the rally, right? Wait till the ref does that, or wait till we call the ball is dead, right? Like let's say the ball hits the fence, there's two bounds, whatever. Then the ball is dead. Then you can yell whatever you want.
And this has been Referee's Corner with Victor Chan.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So just be mindful of those because we're here just to enforce the rule. We don't like I want like for me, I'd rather have a match I don't need to call any faults than actually having a match I need to call a fault because it's actually easier for me. I just need to keep track of score, keep track your position, and that's it. We're not looking for faults. We're there just to enforce the rules so everyone has a fair play. Exactly.
Yeah. And actually, this leads right into our next topic, Vic, because this will help refs eventually once it gets up and running. It's been officially announced that the PPA is going to be bringing in automated line calling. This was a PicklePod exclusive a little while ago. Talking with the one of the head guys of PPA that they're signed a contract with a technology company to bring in basically the same thing that you see in tennis, where it's AI using cameras and stuff like that to call balls in or out, which honestly, and like and obviously we know there's going to be growing pains with this, but this is what we need for pickleball, because this is the next step for pro pickleball to make it. Because as much as we love the sport and we literally have a podcast geeking out about, we understand that in a lot of sports circles, this is still considered kind of a joke sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
and,
we're like at the
and
pro
self line
level,
calling is one of the main reasons behind
exactly. There you go. Like in pro sport shouldn't, like, that's why you need umpire or whatever. You need referee, because there's money in the line. There's something in the line. People, unfortunately, when it's tight, they call it tight, right? And
Yeah.
you need someone else, like a officiating team, to enforce that rule in order to make sure that play is impartial. Is fair, right?
Exactly, and that's why we have instant replay in all different types of pro sports. Like soccer uses the AR system and stuff like that, right? Like tennis is using. I always call it eagle eye. I know that's not
It's
the
hawk.
Yeah,
It's called.
yeah. I always knew I called it the wrong thing, but yeah. So this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, I'm going to assume there's going to be issues starting off because it's a brand new setup. They're trying to make it work with obviously a plastic ball instead of a rubber ball where you can actually have like a chip in it. I'm interested to see how they get, if they do stick a chip in there, and with how easily pickleballs break, especially with how hard these pro players hit. It's going to be interesting to see how they make that work. But they were saying it could be in as early as Q4 of this year, so we're talking like October. I think that's a little probably like thinking a bit too advanced. I'm thinking you're going to see it more like first quarter, second quarter of next year is my guess. Like
Gotcha.
before it's to the point where they're willing to stick it on TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, on my side, it's definitely a welcoming change for pickleball, because as a lot of players have played tournaments, you see, like, referee, our main responsibility is watching the non-volley zone fault. Okay, and that is our main responsibility, and that's what the players pay for, right? What, like, we do not, most of the time we don't have the ideal angle to watch the lines, right? Unfortunately, because could be the players hindering our way to watch it, or there's a firefight. And for us, we're our main goal is making sure there's no non-volley zone violation during that time. So we're not going to be able to turn and watch where that ball lands, right? And that having an automated calling system will definitely help the referee, and also dissuade some player calling bad calls, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
On obviously on my end, I have some reservation, because I'm coming also from tennis, and there is quite a bit of learning curve from tennis before you actually become good enough to run in the pro tour. So a couple of things. First of all, it was a lighting issue. So if you're on the outdoor court, depending on the days and where the sun's gonna be, the camera won't be able to catch as well the ball on the line, and sometimes the line is too reflective for the camera sometimes to actually catch the ball. So that could be an issue in this regard. So my recommendation would be, maybe start in an indoor facility before starting in a outdoor facility, because you can kind of limit that variable, because you have the same light intensity in the indoors versus outdoors, right? And outdoors you have also other variables that you cannot control. Wind. You can control wind. So therefore, if the AI is trying to predict, now that you have the wind factor that just came in, it might throw off the AI how to read the ball now, and then the landing, which they predicted in some point, now change to another direction, because the wind shows it a little shows it differently. Another reservation is, like, how many cameras is going to be, right? If we look at the tennis Hawkeye system, is over 8 to 16 cameras that's watching the ball. So if you're trying to just use one or two camera, I don't think it's gonna make it. Even though you say, oh, it's a smaller court, we should be able to run it. It doesn't run that way because there is always some blind spot, which the camera is not going to be pointing into, right? Unless you have a camera for every line. So a line on a baseline. So you're gonna need two camera on the baseline. You're gonna need at least two to four cameras for the sidelines on the on each side, and then you also need two more cameras on the non-volley zone in order to help the ref for the non-volley zone. So you see that how many cameras gonna need in order to have some better accuracy. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna be implemented. Obviously, then another question is gonna be how many courts you're gonna be able to have that AI system, right? Because right now most of the time you have the challenge system in PPA or the MLP only in the grandstand or the center court. How about the other courts, right? How you gonna make it fair? That's gonna be in every courts, right? So that will be another question that has to be answered over time. Obviously, I'll say it's a right step, a good step to the right direction. But I think we need gonna be a lot, give them a lot of patience before it reaches to that perfect level.
Yeah, absolutely right. And like we said, for this is more so on the pro side of things right now, as far as things go. And like we said, one of the main things for a sport to be taken seriously as a pro sport is, and this comes kind of goes back to the duper algorithm adjustment too. It's making it the most accurate and also making it easy for people watching to bet on, because it all comes back to money. If a sport can make it, if a sport can be bet on, you have to make it so that every variable is understood, because that way you don't run into issues with the betting system. So hence why the duper algorithm has changed according, why it's basing off of performance, because now you can do bets like plus or minus X amount of points and stuff like that, right? Whereas before it would just be wins and losses. With the line system now, it's like, hey, well, if I was betting, say, for like Annalie and like Ben Johns to win this one, well, what happens if that other team is calling a bunch of balls out that are actually in? Well, now you have this system to come in and fix that. And like we said, definitely going to be growing pains with it. Like when tennis first got it, it wasn't a perfect system. It's become almost inflappable now, but that's after years and years and years of work and technology advancements. The nice thing is technology is already at a point now. It's figuring out, okay, how do we get it to work within the pickleball system? Right. So I am excited by this news. Like I said, it's going to give pickleball more credibility, because people still like, even when Annalie Waters went to like the ESPYs this year, people were making the joke of, oh, not a real athlete on like social media and stuff, right? Which is a dick, and that's just people being assholes about it. But it shows you right now in the sporting world where kind of pickleball teeters.
Yeah, it's
in the social like, aspect of things.
It's just because it's not into the Olympic sport, into the like mass media yet. Like people are still thinking we were like a.
They're still thinking sport. It's something you play with your grandparents.
Exactly. So,
right, like,
but
because there's still people who we know pretty well who, as of this year, until I told them, didn't know there was a pro league in Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, so it's one of those things that's still considered, a lot of people still consider like a social sport, something you go like horseshoes type of thing, something you can go play in the back and have a beer playing with, but it's nothing you take seriously. And it's like, no, there's people playing for money. There's people playing pro, trying to go pro. We are literally making a podcast where we're discussing the pro leagues in Canada. Exactly. And stuff like that, and minor league and stuff like that, right? So it is a thing, but we're at the point right now with now the pro side has to step up with the technology and with that stuff to make it, once you get the pro side to where it's recognized as this is a legitimate thing, everything flows downhill after that. And then, amateur stuff, like there is college stuff already going on in the US, but once you get the pro thing settled, as this is a real sport, a real pro sport that people follow, it bleeds down, the money and stuff bleeds down into, so then you're going to see more college teams, you're going to see high school teams, you're going to see like high school type provincials, not just like provincials that we can just sign up to and go. You might have to start having regionals in areas, and you're representing the zone and stuff like that, right? It's gonna, but it all starts at the top and has to work its way down, but you have to solidify the top first to get the money to flow down to the bottom. So the fact that the top is now taking those steps to make this more legitimate is what we want to see. But like we said, gonna have to be patient with it because it's gonna be a learning curve.
Definitely, this is definitely a welcome change, but it's gonna may take a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we do have one more announcement. Now, this podcast is probably going to come out past the deadline, but if we somehow get this posted before the end of the 31st of July, you have until midnight on the 31st of July to get your application in to play for Team Canada at the World Cup. Me and Vic are on the player selection committee as one vote. So right now we're just going to go. And so the Pickleball World Cup this year is in Fort Lauderdale, October 27th to November 2nd. So you have a chance to represent Team Canada. You're going to be playing against a bunch of other countries. If you want to follow up the Pickleball World Cup on Instagram or Global Pickleball Federation, stuff like that, you can see all the teams that are already signed up. There's already countries announced their teams already. So the deadline to get your application in is July 31st. Like I said, probably by the time this episode comes out, we're going to be past that date. So if you haven't put it in, sorry if you're listening to this now, you're probably out of luck. The next episode will probably be announcing who is on the team, the team we helped pick. But we're going to go over the kind of executive side of the team right now. So we got so for the GM, of course, UEC Lau, the busiest man in pickleball in Canada. Founder of CMPL, founder of CPA, working with the Asian Pickleball Association in China for Global Pickleball Federation. Like, just literally, like I said, busiest man in pickleball right now. Yep. Yui is the GM. We have Eric Yoon is the head coach. You just go onto his Instagram and you can see his impressive record and the amount of people who, like, once he got announced, were saying, "Oh, best choice ever." Type of thing. So like, big shout out to Eric. Then we have Ricky Loretti, or Loretti. Sorry, Ricky, I can't speak today. Who is the owner of the Toronto United team of the CMPL? He is going to be the director of team ops. Then we have Brett Shepley, who is the GM of the Brewers from the CMPL, is going to be the director of team personnel. Jason White is going to be media media relations. I can't speak tonight. Jason is also, he is the owner of JYT Media, who does all of the broadcasting for the CMPL, and he is also co-owner of the Northern Lights in the CMPL with Michael Chow. And then we move to the player selection committee. So, of course, me and Vic are on the player selection committee, and we're going to count as one vote. So me and Vic have a double job because we have to agree on our picks first before we even send them to everyone.
Exactly.
Then we have Commissioner Mike from the CMPL on the selection committee. We have Caitlin Soroka Chapman, of course, pro player, and right now the head coach of the Prairie Pronghorns. We have Alex Stokov. Is that how I say his name, Vic? I apologize, Alex.
Close enough.
Alex, of course, is the owner of High Sports. He's been involved with the CPA as well. Big into pickleball in Ontario. Danielle Ross, who is... just look at her credentials, heavily involved in pickleball in Quebec. Same thing with Sylvia Bertrand, Apex Pickleball executive, also really big in the eastern side of Canada. Then Tim McVeany, who is owner of Ninja Paddle and also one of the big tournament organizers for MILP at IPOP in Burnaby. So big shout out to Tim as well. So that is our kind of executive and player selection committee for Team Canada this year. So we're all going to get our heads together by the this weekend and hopefully select the best possible team we can send to the World Cup. So there's going to be an open division and a 50-plus division. And hopefully we can we already got some really good names that came in already. I already have a couple names I've kind of highlighted for me and Vic to go over to hopefully make good picks with that, and hopefully Team Canada can come away at least with a podium finish would be awesome.
Yeah,
At this year's World Cup. Unfortunately, like I said, I would have probably put my name in the hat, and Irene would have probably put her name in the hat, but we're away on a family reunion vacation, which we booked like a year and a half ago at the same time as this event. So as soon as I saw the dates, I was like, no. Right. But not that we would have gotten picked necessarily, but also like me and Vic could have or at least me, I could have like maybe flown down and been part of with the team and stuff and booked the time off and like got to cheer the team on site. But
yeah, exactly.
Alas, not meant to be this year. And Vic's gonna be too close to baby time by the time that happens too. So
I think my head will be wrapped to the baby rather than this, unfortunately.
Yeah. Exactly. So unfortunately, we won't get to be there in person, but we will get to cheer Team Canada on and the team we helped pick. So we're going to be extra invested aside from just national pride. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. That'll probably be our next episode where we like the team will be already announced, but then we'll break down the roster for everyone so you guys know where everybody's from, so you know who to cheer for and all that good stuff. Possibly we'll also have another fun announcement to make after that as well, but we're going to be tight-lipped about that other announcement. So before we go, Vic, I do have another blind ranking from Jesse Parks again. So shout out to Jesse. This time we have worst partners to play with. So worst type of partner to play with.
Jesse. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Jesse. I'm just kidding.
All right, so once again, we're going to go 1 to 5. So 1 being the worst, 5 being the least worst. Okay? So they paddle tap way too hard.
It depends on which paddle I have.
Yeah, I was going to say, with how many paddles Vic has, he might let you get away with it on a certain few of them.
Oh, probably put it as 4. Yeah, 4 is fine.
They apologize too much.
I actually don't mind unless it's getting too annoying. Let's put it as a 5. Actually, it's not too bad.
They get angry or frustrated quickly.
That gets into my nerves, so I put a 2.
2, yeah. Yeah, and especially if you can't calm them back down. It's super frustrating. They make a lot of bad line calls. So I'm going to go with they call stuff in that's out. Against that goes against your favor. So like the team is
my favor.
Yeah, so like the team hit a shot to you guys and you think the ball's out, but then they call it in, but it was like clearly out. Because normally when the teammates disagree, it goes to the other team, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. So basically costing you points that you shouldn't be losing.
Yeah, that's annoying. I was thinking the other way, but anyway, I was thinking like the ball, like I saw
the ball's clearly in and they're calling it out, so like they're kind of cheating.
Yeah, that's actually annoying for me because as a ref, I was like, no, you're not supposed to call that, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I'm debating between 1 or 3.
I was gonna say kind of both of those are like get a pair of glasses. Like seriously, like they're both kind of annoying to be honest. Like both flip sides of that.
As a ref, I'll call it as a 1 because this really bothers me, especially because I come from a line judge tennis background. Like I'm watching the lines all the time.
All right, so right in your middle then is unsolicited coaching. So telling you how to play your game. So yeah, you got that. You got that in the even. So that can depend because
it depends on how.
Depends on how they do
it. Exactly. Sometimes you just ignore them, right?
Yeah.
You just ignore it, and it is what it is. I think it's the one that's annoying is like telling you or holding your hands like, "Hey, you should play."
Yeah, or like being condescending about it.
Yeah,
like it's different. Exactly. It's different. It's different because it's even like if they're doing unsolicited coaching, but it's like well-meaning. I can kind of like for me then it's I can kind of let it slide. But if it's like they're being condescending about it or being a dick about it, then it's like no, F off.
Yeah, it's kind of thing. Like there's kind of like a big,
it's a graded curve, right?
But it's a great thing that there's a big gap too between like how bad that unsolicited coaching could be, or could be like just basically being you're annoying.
Yeah, exactly right. It's funny. Yeah, it's definitely something you would grade on a curve because it depends on tone of voice. It depends on what they're actually telling you. and how often,
sometimes
and the
how
frequency.
repetitive, exactly, and how repetitive is like, okay, let's go get to the kitchen. Okay, go get to the kitchen. Like, yeah, I know, but I can't move to the kitchen. What do you want me to do?
Exactly, right.
Right. Whatever. That's a good one. That
was a good one. That was a good kind of controversial list, because it was like, because there's such a big, like, kind of like we said, grading on a curve for a couple of those, that you could kind of see either side to both, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back probably next week, like we said, with that kind of Team Canada lineup. If we all decide, come to a consensus and get the team picked, like we said, we were aiming to have it picked by like the 4th of August. So it'll be right around that. We might push to the week after that, just in case it takes a little bit longer. And also, there's some other stuff coming up within that week as well that we might have more stuff to announce. So we might push it by a week. So we'll either be back next week or the week after that, depending on how news breaks.
Definitely. Thanks for everyone listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you have any comments for us.
Absolutely, yeah. And Jesse, I think I got only one more of you left. So if you want to add some more blind rankings for Vic, or if anyone else wants to add blind rankings for Vic, just DM me on Instagram at Gorms1307, and we'll keep these fun lists rolling.
All right. See you, everyone. Thank you for listening.